Hey gang, it's JC, and this is the Daily Dose for Friday, May 18th, 2012, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. We have great television archives up top. We have our JC Eye Candy feature below. We'll get to that in a minute. This is a weird one today. And over in the corner, the results of this week's rock and roll poll question, which was, what do you think of Stan Kroenke's demand that a retractable roof be installed at the Dome? And of course, this goes with all of the other stuff. They're now saying maybe $700 million worth of improvements, and they say improvements. I mean, they're basically ripping the old place out and putting a new place up with all sorts of glass and light and everything like that. And a lot of people think this isn't even about what we now know as the Edward Jones Dome. This might be about actually, building a brand new stadium somewhere else. Regardless of what it actually is, the question is, what do you think of the idea? And 44% of you say it's ridiculous and unreasonable, and another 34% of you say he's stalling while he sees how his LA options play out. Now, that's interesting because only 12% of you say if that's what it takes to keep the Rams in St. Louis, then you got to do it. Only 12%. And another 9% of you smart Alex out there say at least then you'd be able to get a tan while you watch the Rams lose. This will be very interesting because I'm filling in for the afternoon show guy on 1380, so it's going to be me and Brian McKenna and Jeff Gordon from the Post-Dispatch doing the show. If you are able to see this before 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, then you'll be able to listen to us on AM 1380 here in St. Louis, 3 until 6 on Friday afternoon. And one of our questions is very, very basic and very, very simple, but requires some thought. And it goes like this. Who becomes the most hated man in St. Louis sports history if Stan Kroenke leaves for Los Angeles with this team? Is it still Bill Bidwell, or does it then become Stan Kroenke, or do you throw Albert Pujols' name in this? I mean, it's a great question, and that is something we're going to get into a little bit later on this afternoon. So who then becomes the most hated man in St. Louis sports history? Is it Albert? Is it Stan Kroenke? Or is it Bill Bidwell if Kroenke ends up leaving with this team? So please answer when we ask you to call in this afternoon on AM 1380. All right, today's rock and roll poll question. Facebook, the talk of Wall Street, as it goes on the market today. Where will Facebook be in 5 years? Our choices: A, still a very big part of people's everyday lives. B, way down from where it is today. C, about where MySpace is today. Or D, it'll be over, but more like in 2 or 3 years. That is our rock and roll poll question. Please answer in the corner. We'll have results for you on Monday. We're doing the Daily Dose on Mondays and Fridays now until further notice, while we see sort of how things shake out. There's a lot going on, and I've been pulled in a lot of different directions, and so we may be resuming the daily version of the Daily Dose very soon, but for right now it's Mondays and Fridays, so just play along and see what happens here. What else we got here? We got a lingerie league football team coming to St. Louis. All right, the tryouts for that are a couple of weeks. I think that's where the story really is. The game, who cares about the games? I think the tryouts are fantastic. That's where I want to be, at the tryouts. I heard one of the TV stations yesterday in some sort of a promo say that they're going to have some sort of big event. I don't know, it's like this weekend or something, and they're having the event at Ballpark Village. All right, now I've said this before and I'll say it again. I want you to be very, very attentive when I say this. There's no Ballpark Village. Okay? There's a parking lot, and there's some grass, and a softball field. I'm not even sure the softball field's there anymore. There's no Ballpark Village. Ballpark Village was going to be stores and shops and condos and high-rises and all sorts of attractions and an underground parking garage. Do you see any of that just north of the ballpark? Because I don't. What I see is a parking lot and some grass and occasionally a hole full of mud and stuff like that. And it's just amazing to me that certain media outlets and even some people in St. Louis will still refer to that place as Ballpark Village. It's just amazing to me. God. All right, what else we got here today? All right. For those of you to whom Johnny Carson actually meant something, there is something that's going to be on television tomorrow night you just have to see. This has already run a couple of times. It ran Monday in prime time, and then it ran again, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. But it's going to be on Saturday night, 8 until 10 on Channel 9 here in St. Louis. Okay, it's free TV, so everybody can see it. So set your DVR, or if you're one of those people that still has a VCR or whatever, or sit down in front of the actual television and watch this, because it is 2 hours of some of the best television I have ever seen. And I will also say this, and again, if you weren't into Johnny Carson, this is going to mean anything to you. However, if you're one of the people to whom Johnny meant something, the last 25 minutes of this 2-hour special is numbing. I would suggest doing something really fun afterwards, or sit down with a stiff drink or something. But it is the last 20-25 minutes of this show on American Masters on PBS. And again, it runs Saturday night from 8 until 10 o'clock St. Louis time. If you were into Johnny Carson, you absolutely have to see this. It was just absolutely sensational. While that's going on, bad news for CNN. They're just getting hammered. Now, the problem is every time I turn on CNN, it's some no-talent clown-ass goofing around, trying to be some sort of big, overwrought, controversial person. It looks so contrived and so boring and stupid. Or they're doing holograms, or there's just something, and you're looking and go, what are you guys into? And I used to have CNN on maybe 10, 12 hours a day. And now, if I'm channel surfing, I go by just to see what stupid thing they're doing next. So in the meantime, Piers Morgan only had 39,000 viewers in the 25 to 54 demo the other night. He only had a grand total of 284,000 people who were watching that show. When we were doing the morning show on KSHE back in the 1980s, we had that many people on a local radio station every day. That's how bad things are at CNN. And then, on top of that, you hear that Larry King is coming back. He is 78 years old, and there's this new digital network called Ora TV, O-R-A, Ora TV. Larry King now will mark the beginning of Ora TV, which is being financed by a Mexican billionaire by the name of Carlos Slim. This is the sort of stuff you can't write. The best comedy writers in the world could not write that Larry King is going to come back and work for a Mexican billionaire named Carlos Slim. It sounds like something out of a Three Stooges movie. But it gets better than that, because Ora TV, let me just see what this is supposed to appeal to a younger crowd that'll be more likely to tune into a digital network. Yes, because that younger crowd that watches digital stuff is just wild about 78-year-old men. What is going on? Hooah! All right, JC's Eye Candy today. You're going to have to tell me. I've watched this now 10 or 12 times, and I still don't know what it was. Bloomberg News, and they got the camera on some woman. She's talking, and she tosses it over to this other woman. But it's not on the traditional news set. It's like in their cubicles, where they're trying to make it look like, here we are in the newsroom, and they're just jumping from cubicle to cubicle. And they go to the next woman, who seemed to be surprised by the fact that she was being put on camera at that particular time. She has something between her legs. She pulls her skirt down to cover it up. I don't have the slightest idea what it is. If you know, will you please tell me? Because I've watched this, as I said, a dozen times now. I don't have the slightest idea what is between this woman's legs. And it went over, national TV on Bloomberg News. So watch that. JC's Eye Candy is right below what you're looking at right now. All right, again, it is the question here, our rock and roll poll. Facebook, the talk of Wall Street today. The stock is going up today. Where's Facebook going to be in 5 years? A, still a very big part of people's everyday lives. B, way down where it is from today. C, about where MySpace is today. Or it'll be over, but it'll take more like 2 or 3 years. Please answer down in the corner. We'll have results for you on Monday. The Daily Dose now on Mondays and Fridays. And again, if you're around today, Friday, this afternoon, from 3 until 6, I'll be along with Brian McKenna and Jeff Gordon from the Post-Dispatch on AM 1380. That's from 3 until 6 in the afternoon. All right, that's it. JC's Daily Dose for Friday, May 18th, 2012. A combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. I got a pool to get to. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.